And to this now, the City of Johannesburg is reeling from yet another round of heavy downpours that have wreaked havoc on its infrastructure. A number of roads and bridges have had to be closed, with Soweto and Roodeport among the areas hardest hit. Let's get you a sense of the extent of the damage. Bring in the city's MMC for Housing Development Mlungisi Mabaso, live to us via our video link this afternoon rather. Thanks to have you. Thanks very much indeed for being with us on the program. And I wonder whether or not we can actually take stock of the extent of the damage here to MMC in a context where the recovery efforts, so to speak, are still ongoing.
Well, thank you very much, Ayanda. Greetings to yourself and the viewers at home. Well, there were quite a number of communities that got affected as compared to the previous flooding that we had experienced. Because yesterday I was on the ground, the mayor was in the Alexandra site, I was in Soweto, the other MMCs were also in the part of Soweto region yesterday. But what I discovered when I was on the ground is that most of the roads got badly damaged and they had to be closed. But there was that communication with the MMC for transport where we were trying to mitigate even against the traffic that we're experiencing and the road users that were experiencing yesterday. But with the Department of Human Settlements yesterday, were able to visit Newzroom Hostel again because they were affected once again by the floods caused by the same river, Eclipse River. That is flowing past by the hostel, where we discovered that the 217, and this is an unaudited or unverified number of the affected households that was compiled yesterday. We were able to assist 100 families that were, that had to be evacuated from their units. We placed them to a safe place. In Cape Town, Ward 19, we had a similar challenge where 44 units were also badly affected, and we were able to relocate them as well. And in Protea South, where we had more than 1,000 households that were affected, because all those shacks, are situated along the flood lines. In Ward 17, again, in El Dorado Park, the team was also on the ground. More than 100 families were also identified as affected, but we were able also to move them to a safe place.
Yeah, there's also sporadic reports of casualties. I wonder whether you've been able to consolidate any of those tallies, MMC?
Well, we had not get that report from disaster, and we understand that yesterday they were overstretched, but we are aware that at Cape Town there are individuals that were rushed to hospital, but we are still waiting for disaster to confirm the number of those that got injured. But fortunately, there has been no fatality that has been reported to us. But once the report has been consolidated and submitted to us, then we'll be in the better position to indicate how many injuries were sustained yesterday and how many, families got affected, in the entire region of Region D.
Sure. Reports also emerging of residents asking to be relocated. I mean, given just how many households have been affected, I wonder whether or not the city can actually do this.
Well, we are trying. We have opened some of the public facilities. There are NGOs, and there are also churches that have opened up to assist in this process. So as and when the relocation is required, then that's when we start with that process. But there are still other facilities that are open, and understanding that we are towards the festive season and there are a lot of activities that are happening in these community facilities. Other facilities are fully booked because of weddings, because of closing parties, but we are engaging with the Department of Community Development. We are engaging with caretakers so that most of the facilities are made available, because we need to save life more than anything else. Life is important for us, and we need to make sure that we save life before we could even engage on any other activities.
Many people obviously will point to climate change for why we're dealing with this crisis. Many others pointing to just our poor, firstly, spatial planning in this country, but secondly, also how we manage our sewer systems. What's government's or the city's response to that?
Well, we acknowledge and understand that we do have an infrastructure backlog, and some of our storm drainage, are blocked. And there is a program in the process through the Department of Transport where they are unblocking all our stormwater drainage system in the city. And there are also programs where we are installing stormwater drainage systems, like in Cape Town. There is a 10-key project that is currently being implemented through Johannesburg Development Agents. If you go to Orange Farm as well, we are also installing infrastructure there because we are trying to mitigate against all these problems that we always encounter during heavy rains. But over and above that, there is also problems with the management of rivers in the city, and we had requested even previously for the office of the chief of for the office of the coup to look at the matter, and there was a task team that was set up, which is looking at the management of the rivers, particularly Cape Spread River, because it comes from the old mining dam, and Department of Minerals and Energy is also required to intervene and assist us, because we need to get some rights from them for us to do excavation and some remedial work with that river, so that we are able to redivert the water that always causes problems for us. So there is a lot of work that has been happening behind closed doors, where we are trying to find lasting solutions to the problem. But up until we address and deal with Cape Spread River, will forever experience these challenges whenever we have the heavy rains. And we even now call upon the Department of Minerals and Energy to come out and assist us in the city for us to deal with that river, because we were told there is not much that we can do, because we need to get rights from them, as this river comes from the old mining dam towards your New Canada site.
All right, Mlungisi Mabaso, thanks for your time. Mlungisi is the MMC for Housing Development in the City of Johannesburg.